Hello, guesser. Ready to guess twice songs based on a story? Then be my guesser and guess these songs.
Neon, with a mind more comfortable in the world of quantum physics than high school hallways, had a single pressing goal: to understand romance. Her own social life was a well-organized spreadsheet of study groups, utterly devoid of the heart-fluttering moments she saw in movies. Determined to close this knowledge gap, she embarked on a research mission to the local cinema, armed with a jumbo popcorn and a notebook. She chose a classic romantic comedy and meticulously jotted down every grand gesture, every witty one-liner, and every perfectly timed kiss in the rain. She imagined herself as the main character, a simple change of clothes away from finding her own cinematic love story. The film ended with a passionate reunion at a train station, and Neon left the theater feeling enlightened. She now had a formula, but as she walked home, she saw a couple arguing playfully over a grocery bag, a boy nervously offering a girl a single flower from his own garden, and two elderly people holding hands on a park bench, their silence filled with a comfortable history. None of these moments were like the movie. There were no dramatic declarations, no perfect lighting. Each one was messy, unique, and profoundly real. Neon's meticulously researched notes felt foolish. She realized the movies were not a guide but a beautiful fiction. And at the end, she couldn't understand love. The moment Jui first saw him, she knew her world began to revolve around him. Her attempts to get his attention were carefully planned and executed. First, she intentionally dropped her pen near his desk, but he simply picked it up and placed it on her notebook without a word, his gaze never meeting hers. Undeterred, she moved to bolder moves. She left a small, handwritten note on his seat before class, and when he arrived, he found it, read it for a second, and crumpled it in his hand, tossing it in the trash on his way out. Her friends urged her to move on, but every word of advice was a pointless whisper against the roar of her obsession. Each act of rejection was a test of her resolve, a confirmation that he was different from all the other guys who were so easily won over. He was a fortress she needed to conquer. The final straw came one afternoon when she cornered him in the library, a rehearsed confession trembling on her lips. She poured out her heart, telling him everything. When she finished, he simply looked at her and walked away without a single word. The silence should have crushed her, but instead, it only made her want him more. This wasn't a feat. This was a challenge she was more than ready to meet. Jihyo's heart hammered a frantic rhythm against her ribs the moment she saw him. A jolt of both pure excitement and paralyzing anxiety coursed through her veins. This was it. The moment she had been waiting for, yet also dreaded. Her mind immediately went into overdrive, debating a dozen different scenarios. Should she just walk over and say a cool, casual hi? No, too simple. What about giving him her number? Too forward. Handing him a note and running away? That felt like something out of a cheesy movie, but the thought of a quick escape was so tempting. The internal debate raged on, a whirlwind of nervous energy. But her body was not on board. Her palms were sweating, and she couldn't seem to make her feet move. Then, a sudden calm settled over her. She was tired of the fear, tired of the what-ifs. She took one last, steadying breath, gathered all her courage, and walked across the room. She stood before him, her heart still a drum solo, but her voice steady. "Hi," she said, her eyes meeting his. "I know this is out of the blue, but I just wanted to tell you, I've had a crush on you for a while now." She let the words hang in the air, a raw and honest confession. All she could do now was hope, with every fiber of her being, that he would love her back. The rain slicked the cobblestones as Mina moved through the alleyways, a shadow in the night. Her target was a corrupt man. She knew what she had to do: but a small voice in her head screamed a warning to herself to stop, to turn back before she crossed a line she could never uncross. But the kill was inevitable. Nothing can stop her as she scaled the wall of the target's mansion, the cold stone a familiar comfort against her gloved hands. She found him in his study. He looked up, startled, as she emerged from the shadows. He saw the cold, hard glint of the blade in her hand and the chilling emptiness in her eyes. "Look in my eyes, you'll see the monster stuck inside," she said, her voice a low, dangerous growl. The target's plea for mercy was cut short by a flash of steel. The job was done. As the life drained from his eyes, Mina felt a profound emptiness, a horrifying detachment from the act she had just committed. The voice in her head returned, a terrified prayer. "Somebody stop me," she thought, the words a silent scream in the cold, desolate darkness of her soul. But there was no one left to hear her. She was alone with the monster she had become. Sanaa's affection for Leo was a vibrant, noisy thing inside her. She'd bring him a coffee exactly how he liked it. He'd smile, thank her, and never once connect it to the fact that she had memorized his order a month ago. Her frustration began to simmer when she moved on to less subtle hints. She started with lingering touches on his arm and compliments about his laugh. He would just smile and thank her as if she were complimenting his shirt. Next, she baked his favorite red velvet cake. He devoured it, gushing about her baking skills. The desperation truly set in when she made an overt gesture. Sanaa spent an entire weekend curating a playlist she titled, "Songs That Remind Me of You." She sent it to him, her heart pounding. His reply came an hour later. "Hey, this is perfect for my morning commute. Thanks so much." He had completely missed the point. Sanaa stared at her phone. It was the last straw. The vibrant, noisy thing inside her began to feel less like affection and more like a loud, frustrating scream. She wanted to shake him, to yell, "Can't you see?" But she knew he wouldn't. He was oblivious, and she was trapped in a silent, unrequited confession. Chaeyoung watched him from across the cafe, her heart doing a familiar flip-flop. But her feelings were a dangerous thing, a force she was determined to contain. In her mind, she had a set of rules. Rules born from a past where her heart had been too open and too easily broken. A bitter conflict raged within her. If he had to work for her affection, she reasoned, he would value it more. He wouldn't dare take it for granted. She was terrified of repeating the same mistakes, of giving her all only to be left with nothing. She watched him stand up, his friends laughing as they headed for the door. Her heart pounded, a frantic drum against her ribs. This was her chance to say something, to abandon her foolish rules, but the reminder from her friend won. A woman shouldn't give her heart easily. She took a slow sip of her coffee, the bitter taste a perfect reflection of her regret. The door swung shut behind him, leaving her alone with her thoughts and the silent prison of her own making. Jong-yeon scrolled through her feed for the 10th time that night. Her latest post, a carefully curated photo of her laughing with a coffee cup, was nearing 100 likes. But one person was missing. He was always missing. The boy she secretly liked, never liked her pictures. Each photo she took was a silent plea for his attention, a meticulously planned moment designed to make her look effortless and happy. A new haircut? A picture. A new outfit? A picture. A day out with friends? A dozen pictures just in case one of them would catch his eye. The likes from others felt hollow. It was his validation she craved, and his silence was a growing weight in her chest. One evening, she was tired of the unreciprocated effort and deciding to just let it go. She put her phone down and started to cry, the tears a mixture of frustration and genuine heartbreak. The next day, as she sat with a friend, her phone buzzed with a notification she hadn't expected. She picked it up, and her heart jumped. It was him. A notification from him. He had liked an old post, one she had nearly forgotten about. Then another notification came through. A comment. "I can't believe I just found your account. Your photos are amazing. I've been looking for you." Momo's world had shrunk to the four walls of her bedroom and the relentless cycle of a moonless night. The breakup wasn't just a memory. It was a ghost that haunted her pillow, a constant echo in the quiet hours. Each night was a battle she was losing. Her mind had become a prison of relentless thoughts, replaying every painful moment she couldn't fix. The loneliness was a physical weight on her chest, a suffocating blanket that no amount of tossing and turning could shake off. It was a loneliness that came not from being alone, but from feeling so completely separated from the person who had once been her anchor. She would lie there, staring at the ceiling, feeling the anxieties like a burden on her chest, a heavy presence that wouldn't let her rest. She yearned for the simple relief of a deep sleep, the kind that swallows you whole and offers a temporary escape from the turmoil. Momo wondered when the cycle would end. She is tired of being up all night. She closed her eyes, not to sleep, but to yearn for the future, for a day when she could finally move on, and the darkness of the night would no longer feel so overwhelming. She just wanted to fall into a deeper night, a night of peace. In the curated world of social media and magazine covers, Dayan and her partner were the definition of a perfect couple. But behind the scenes, the applause was a distant echo, and the perfect image was a gilded cage. He didn't hit her or yell. His control was far more subtle, a web of emotional manipulation and passive-aggressive comments. Every choice she made, from her clothes to her friends, was subtly criticized to fit the image he required. She was a reflection of his desires, not a person in her own right. The more the world celebrated their perfection, the more she felt she was losing herself, piece by invisible piece. One evening, at a public event where she had to play her part, she looked at her reflection and didn't recognize the person staring back. The image of perfection felt like a lie she no longer wanted to live. The next day, she began to rebel. It started with a simple change of clothes, something she truly loved but he disapproved of. Then, she went out with a friend he had been subtly discouraging her from seeing. The perfect image began to crack, and with each crack, a piece of her true self emerged. She was no longer willing to be an unseen force's puppet. She was ready to be seen, messy and real, and to finally live a life that was her own.
Did you manage to name them all? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the challenge and subscribe for more.